want to ask, you did a book with Terry Pratchett called Good Omens. I read that. I read it in the mystery. So this is kind of two topics. Firstly, what was it like working with another author? Was there clashes on creativity or ego? That kind of thing. And second, how did you get your idea about God and the devil, so-called, not actually being opponents, just guys who have different types of jobs, and leading to your stance on God itself?
It was very easy writing with Terry. Terry and I think, have fairly similar heads. The inside of our heads are fairly different. Fairly similar. Terry used to ring me up all through the early days of this book, and the phone would just ring, and I'd answer the phone, and he said, hey, you know, Terry, is this funny, or is this funny? And he'd explain two things he could do in a book, and I'd say, well, surely you can do both. If you do this, that, the other. You go, oh yeah. You go, we have similar heads for narrative, we have similar heads for character, and we have sort of frames of reference. For Good Omens, I'd written 5,000 words at the beginning, had sent it to Terry, showed it to him, we put it aside, I hadn't done anything more, got a phone call about a year later from him saying, did you do anything with that thing you began? Because if you're not, either sell it to me or let's write it together, because I would love to carry on with it. And I said, oh, well, let's do it together. And there were no arguments. There were no disagreements. What there was each of us, every day, phoning the other one. Normally, I would get up way after Terry, and I would work way, way late into the night. And so, when I got up, the little light on my telephone answering machine would be flashing. I would press the button, and the tape would rewind, because this was a long time ago. And a voice would say, get up, you bastard, I've just written a book bit. And I would phone him, and he would read me whatever he'd written that morning, and I'd read him what I'd written much, much earlier that morning. And we'd make each other laugh. I mean, there's often I can remember because it was written. We were talking about things earlier on who your intended audience is. Good Omens, it was really easy. Mine was Terry, his was me. And if either of us saw a really good joke that the other one had missed, we just go in and add it to that bit. So there are very few pieces of text that are completely pristine. Terry would write something and I'd footnote it. Or add a paragraph. I'd write something, Terry would footnote it. We muck stuff around, we bounce stuff back and forth. As to where we got the idea from of an angel and a demon who have much more in common with each other than they do with home base, and aren't actually particularly good or particularly bad, but it is here. Really, we got that from spy novels. Because one of the cliches of really good end of the Cold War spy novels was always the idea that, you know, basically you get a Russian agent and you get an American agent and they'd be based in England and they have a lot more in common with each other. You know, 10 years of being a spy, 20 years of being a spy, they have more in common with each other than they do with anybody back in America or back in Russia. It just sort of, it just seemed like a lovely, for want of a better word, equation. And one that could transfer for everyone over to humorous Armageddon fiction, of which, so far as I know, Good Omens is the only example. So, yeah, I got short reading. My short reading something. Already got one short reading, so let's read a little bit from near the end. So, for those of you who have not read the Graveyard Book, which is probably a lot of you. Actually, give me a show back. Who's ready? There's about half and half. So this is a book about a baby. The Jungle Book is about a infant child whose family had probably been killed by a giant tiger, and who wanders into the jungle and is raised by jungle animals and taught the things that wild beasts know. And this is a story about a kid who wanders into a graveyard and is raised by dead people and taught the things that dead people know. And there's one chapter every 2 years